Wali Paidi didn't know what he was experiencing at the moment. He often heard the objects around him doing dhikr, starting from the broomstick he usually used, the slippers of the students which he had arranged while doing dhikr, until one morning the Wali Paidi was called by Mba Romo Kiai, and as usual, Mba Romo Kiai met Wali Paidi on the Dalem terrace accompanied by coffee and his favorite kretek cigarettes. After telling Wali Paidi to drink his coffee and giving him a cigarette, Father Kiai said, "Son, what you are experiencing is normal, don't worry. Every person who learns to cleanse his heart and invites him to do dhikr all the time, will experience what you are experiencing now. Even hearing a dog's howl will sound like the sound of someone doing dhikr. It's all a reflection of your heart. You definitely remember the hadith which tells of when the Prophet heard the pebble he was holding while dhikr." "Inga Kiai," said Wali Paidi, "tomorrow you go to Malong. Make a pilgrimage to the tomb of Habib Abdullah bil Faqih and his father Habib Abdul Qadir bil Faqih, but before you sit down, read this greeting," said the priest while handing a piece of paper to the guardian Paidi. The guardian Paidi respectfully accepted the small paper given by the priest. "Read it," the priest ordered, "Salamalahi ya Sada," and so on. The guardian Paidi read it while singing the greeting. That greeting is indeed common. And in every grave of a saint there are many, depending on the greeting. If later when you arrive at Habib's grave, and Habib is not in the grave, then when Habib hears your greeting, God willing Habib will return to his grave and meet you, said the priest explaining, "Inga Kiai." The guardian Paidi replied, "You just ride Safian's motorbike," the Kiai ordered. Safian was the son of the Kiai. The next day, Wali Paidi left for Malong City, to the Kasan public cemetery. The Kiai said, "The graves of Habib Abdullah and Habib Abdul Qadir are in the Kasan public cemetery." That was the only instruction from the Kiai, while Wali Paidi did not know where the Kasan area was. Wali Paidi did not dare to ask the Kiai for more details. Because of maintaining etiquette, Wali Paidi obeyed and tried to carry out the Kiai's orders without asking many questions or protesting. Upon arriving in Malong City, Wali Paidi went straight to the Malong City Square. After parking his bike, Wali Paidi looked around for a parking attendant. Not long after, a parking attendant approached him. Wali Paidi then asked him where the Kasan area was. After getting an explanation from the parking attendant, Wali Paidi immediately left for the Kasan area according to the instructions he received. In about 10 minutes the Wali Paidi was in the casino area. Now just look for where the Kasan public cemetery is located, Inner Wali Paidi. Wali Paidi asked questions to the people he met, apparently according to their information. There were 2 Kasan public cemeteries. Wali Paidi then explained that he intended to make a pilgrimage to the graves of Habib Abdullah bil Faqih and his father Habib Abdul Qadir bil Faqih. After receiving clear instructions regarding the directions to the tombs, Wali Paidi continued his journey, but Wali Paidi still couldn't find the tombs. Because when he got close there were people who pointed him in the wrong direction. So the guardian Paidi just wandered around in the casino area for more than half an hour. The guardian Paidi circled around the Kasan area, because every time the guardian Paidi asked, the answer was different. The guardian Paidi was worried. His body suddenly felt tired. He then stopped his motorbike on the side of the road. He got off the bike. A moment later the guardian Paidi took out his cigarette and lit it. In the middle of smoking, the guardian Paidi began to pray. After finishing, the guardian Paidi said in his heart, "Mba Habib Abdul Qadir, Mba Habib Abdullah, I want to go to your grave. Please show me where your grave is," the guardian Paidi thought. Then the guardian Paidi got on his motorbike and started to continue his journey. The guardian Paidi followed what his heart said. After walking about 50 meters, the guardian Paidi smelled a fragrant aroma. Alhamdulillah, Mba Habib's grave is close, the guardian Paidi thought. Wali Paidi followed the fragrant smell that he smelled, and not long after, Wali Paidi was in front of the Kassan public cemetery. Wali Paidi turned and entered the cemetery from the side. In the middle of the cemetery there was a small building with a green dome on top. Under the dome was the tomb of Habib Abdul Qadir bil Faqih and his son Habib Abdullah bil Faqih. When he was right in front of the tomb with the stainless steel fence, Wali Paidi read the greeting written by his cleric, Salam Allahi ya Sada min aromani yagshakum. Said Wali Paidi. After reading one verse, the air around Wali Paidi felt different from before. Wali Paidi was so surprised that he was silent for a moment. Then he continued to read the greeting poem until finished. The Wali Paidi bowed his head with full respect. The Wali Paidi felt that there were two great figures watching him from within. After finishing reading the greeting poem, the Wali Paidi moved near the grave and sat down to start reading the Tahlil. Just as the Wali Paidi sat down, suddenly it was as if there was the sound of a drum being beaten, dum, accompanied by the air that hit the Wali Paidi's body. When the air hit the Wali Paidi's body, the Wali Paidi's whole body simultaneously dhikr, Allah, Allah, Allah. The Wali Paidi read the Tahlil accompanied by the sound of the drum dum, Allah, 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 dum, Allah, Allah, Allah. When the air hit the Wali Paidi, his whole body simultaneously dhikr. To be continued.